All right, well, let's just get this started. Um, so today we're doing the data export tool with REDCap. My name is Stephen Wu, and I'll be demonstrating how we use the data export tool, why we use it, and the different options that are available when you use it. Now, why do you need the data export tool, you might ask? Um, you really need it when you need your data, of course. You need it when you need to analyze your data, or your statistician needs to analyze your data, or maybe you want to back up your data. Those are all very good reasons to back up or export your data. REDCap's analysis tools aren't as powerful as some of the stats packages out there. For instance, like R or Excel or SAS. So sometimes you might want your data from REDCap and then use it with one of those packages. And REDCap accommodates for that purpose. REDCap is really a data capture tool first. We don't support data analysis, or at least our team doesn't. We do advise you having a statistician. We're not statisticians ourselves, but we can assist you in capturing data and to make your data a lot more readable for the statistician. As such, that's why a lot of people need the data export tool. So just to get started, we can look at what's available for us right now. So in this project, this is just a training project just to play around in. You'll see that I have 6 responses. So this is my data that's currently available in the database. Just very generic stuff, most of it false. So don't try and email Michael Jordan. Just a lot of records that I made randomly and just added to the project. So we can just go straight to the data export tool, which is located on the left-hand side. A quick reminder though, the data export tool is not available unless the owner of the project gives you rights to it. So if we come here and we go to, for instance, a REDCap administrator, you'll notice that you have to give them access to data exports. By default, it'll be put as de-identified. That really means that all freeform text fields will not be available. Basically, anything that's not marked as an identifier will not be available. So I'll explain that in a little bit too. So just to get back into it, I give myself full data access, save changes. Oh, one thing I forgot, data import tool. That's the complete opposite when you want to bring in data, but for that, that's for another video. We'll go back to the project setup, actually go into the data export tool, and you'll notice here that this is for reports. We cover reports in a different tutorial video. What this really does is just give you ways to customize what fields you want to export. But today we're focusing on all data, which is by default available to you. So when you want to export your data, we can view it first, just to look at what we have. Some empty stuff. This is also stuff that'll be covered in a different video. This is about the data access group, which would be DAGs right here. Survey identifier, subject ID. So this is where all your important stuff starts. You have dates and then timestamp for when it was completed. So let's go back to the reports, export data. Now we have multiple different options available for the export. You have SPSS, SAS, R, and Stata. We typically recommend Excel, but that's because that's our preference. So you can choose whichever one you want. And we also recommend raw data. I'll download both just to explain what they are and the differences. One very powerful tool that REDCap provides is the de-identification option. Basically what this means is you can remove all tagged identifier fields. So basically anything that is tagged in your online designer. So this is going into the instrument, go to the specific field, for instance, first name and identifier right here. It's marked in red. If this is marked yes, then if I select that option, REDCap will automatically remove this from the export. Basically, it will not be exported. So, but we do want it to be exported right now, just for demonstration purposes. So we'll come back and then go through again. Hash the record ID field. This is in case people tend to use MRNs as their record ID, or maybe they use some sort of non-generic identifier. Maybe they use their last name and bind it to some random number. But basically what this does is it generates a hash, which is, it looks really weird. It's just a bunch of numbers and text to basically hide the record ID. Next is Freeform Text. So basically this would be when you select the text box in REDCap for your specific variable in the online designer. This is basically saying remove unvalidated text fields or remove notes in SA box fields. So we'll take a look at that. Go into the instrument again, and then last name. So text box, this is what it's talking about, freeform text. So when you use this, we typically recommend you use some sort of validation, if there's some sort of numbers involved. So for instance, you have regular number, number with decimals, dates, emails, even zip code. There's also an MRN validation. So what this does is it makes sure that your data conforms to one of these. There's many options available. I'm not going to go through all of them today. But if, for instance, you're exporting data and you check this, if any of those text fields or text box fields are not validated, meaning nothing is selected here, it's just left as none, then it will be removed from the export. If you want fields that are, if you want everything, then make sure this is unchecked. But if you only want fields that are validated, then you would select this. And notes box are kind of self-explanatory. This is just kind of where you would write an essay or some sort of very long paragraph text, for instance. So that would just be this. You can probably preview it, just save this. It would just be this notes box. So if you don't want that to show up, then you can select remove notes fields. And then we come to the date and time. So we can literally just remove all date and all time fields. So for instance, in my project, I have date of birth and visit date. Those would be removed. There's also a survey taken field. Basically, when someone takes the survey, it would just timestamp it. That would be removed too. Or you could just shift all dates, and it's random shifting. So you don't know the exact time or the differences. There's more information about it on this link on the side. And lastly, we have additional export options. So if your project has data access groups, this would show and help you kind of filter out or sort them into your individual access groups. very useful if you're working on multi-site studies or just working with different people that handle individual groups. And then last but not least, we have the survey identifier field and survey timestamp. Basically, this is just what it means. If you have a timestamp, basically when someone takes the survey, it would immediately timestamp when they take it. We don't really need these two today, so we'll just do a regular export. So I'll export raw, and then it pops up, data export was successful. So I'll save it, and then open. Here's my raw data. Oh, you can also send the file if you want to. So say your statistician wants data. Well, you can customize what they get here by yourself. And then after you click export data here, you can send the file to them. So let's do this. Let's open it. And here we go. So we have the labeled data and the raw data. So one thing you'll notice right off the bat, the differences between the two. Let's see if I can okay, here we go. So this is the raw and this is the label data. There's very subtle differences, but you can definitely tell the difference. In the raw, it gives you the variable name. This is what you coded in your online designer, the variable name right here. So like last name or ID. But in the labeled, it's actually the label you gave it. Much more readable for regular people. Well, obviously everyone's a regular person, but much more readable for the general public. You know, people that don't know what the back end of your project looks like. For instance, some people might want to change, you know, DOB. Some people might not know what that means. So date of birth is much more readable. And also, if you notice, survey complete. This is a radio box that REDCap gives you automatically. This tells you if the record itself is completed or not. So if you come over here, you'll see that it says complete instead of giving you a number. This is really meant more for statisticians, I guess. They can do more with the raw data than they can with labeled data, but I don't want to speak for the statistician because I'm not a statistician myself, but these are just the two differences between the labeled data and the raw data. So this would be the complete data set. We have 6 records in the project, and this is all their complete data right in front of you in an Excel spreadsheet. And if you export it into the other packages, it would kind of look about the same, but what this does is it gives you the power to kind of just run whatever formulas you want. For instance, if this was another number and you wanted, I guess, sum, that'd be the easiest example. Do B2 to B7, and you can just grab a total of that. You can't really do that in REDCap. It can't give you a count, so this is really powerful, just being able to have your data at your fingertips. So after this, don't save. We don't need to save this. Well, you might need to save it, but I don't right now. We can go into data export tool, and there's one other way to export your data, and that's as a PDF version. Now, the PDF version is kind of specific to the ways you can export it. It typically only gives you all records or individual records. So here under data exports, I'm going to export the whole thing as a PDF, and this is what the data looks like. It's for each individual patient. This is very useful if you want the paper copy of your data, or you want to be able to store it somewhere that's not on the computer. But it does give you a lot of information. So, and we can also do this in the record itself. So come back and go to, well, for purposes, let's use this one. You can come in here and then you can download this and export this one. So this is just this record specifically. Do you guys have any questions you might want to ask? This would be a very good time to ask. I covered a lot, so if you have any questions, please let me know. You can also reach us at the BIC portal, which is bic.cctr.vcu.edu. We provide support through here, or you can contact us at redcap@vcu.edu. And please visit our YouTube channel, subscribe. We'll have a lot more videos coming soon. Our YouTube channel is REDCap for VCU. We have a lot of videos uploaded already, and if you want more training, just feel free to pile through these videos. And we would like to come up with more training material. So if you have anything specific you want us to kind of go over, please send us a message and let us know. We'll continue to cover topics, but of course, you know, it's not easy to gauge what other people need when no one tells us what they need. So please let us know if you need any help or have any questions. And if there are no questions, then I'll see you guys next time.